In the bottom right of Blood Boil, it is Mouse Sports HeroMarine. And in the top left, the German juggernaut. Also, actually, they're both German. All right. Deutschland ist sehr gut in Starcraft. So, but we're on Blood Boil. Yeah, the introductions. I've never been a huge fan of introductions on like non-live games. Like if they're not there and there's not a crowd, why are you doing these hyped introductions? Whatever. But Blood Boil, before we even talk about the matchup, is a little bit different. Than your standard map, because Blood Boil has two different options. Thank you, Stoop Kid. Welcome back. But your back base, you have a pocket base behind the wall. This base has more mineral patches. It has 10 mineral patches instead of the customary 8 at a normal base. But it only has access to 1 gas geyser. So at the cost of safety, you get more minerals, but you get less gas, which does not allow you to tech up as quickly. Whereas if you go for the forward base, obviously you're more vulnerable down the ramp. But you have access to 2 gas geysers, but only the 8 mineral patches. So, what is happening? Are you sending out probes? And Showtime, well, we haven't even gotten this far yet, but Showtime is taking a gold base. Those gold minerals mine 40% quicker. And there's actually 8 gold mineral patches here, which is even better. Usually a gold base only has 6 patches. So the way gold minerals work is every time a worker returns a golden patch of minerals, it returns 7 minerals instead of 5. This means you mine 40% faster with the same amount of workers. And the fact that there are as many mineral patches as there are a customary blue base means this base can bring in 40% more income than your standard blue base for the same amount of workers. You get literally more bang for your buck. So going for this is obviously very vulnerable. It's forward. There's no real connection to his main besides this entire area around here. But if he can get away with it, the amount of money... I ain't saying he's a gold digger, but he definitely knows how to make that money. And it does look like at the top level, a lot of players won't worker scout, especially as Terran. They'll instead sit back and try to maximize every little bit they can get. And HeroMarine has not scouted. Showtime has taken advantage of this. He's taken the gold base, and now he's going to be making that bank. He's got a Stargate behind us. Stargate is really good at exploiting this kind of situation because he wants to keep HeroMarine pinned to his base. When he goes Stargate, that means the air units have to be responded to. That means you need to build turrets, you need to keep units, making sure your mineral line is not vulnerable to oracles. So if HeroMarine has to sit back and defend, well, you know what he's not doing? He's not attacking your gold base. So that is going to put him in a nice position. Yeah, the Adept. Everything Showtime is doing is feigning like he wants to put on some pressure. And he does want to put on some pressure, but he knows HeroMarine's going to have plenty. So instead, he's just keeping him pinned to his base. So right now, HeroMarine is biting the bait. He doesn't know it's bait right now, but he has 6 Marines, which 6 Marines is the amount required to fight an Oracle, by the way. That's why he has this number in his mineral line. 5 Marines will die. The Oracle activates its pulsar beam, and it will kill the Marines before the Marines kill the Oracle. But 6 will kill that Oracle. And that is why that number is in both of these mineral lines. Showtime, once again, realizing a lot of players, especially at the lower levels, just feel like they could be attacked at any time. But Showtime is the best Protoss outside of Korea. I guess Neeb versus Showtime would be quite an argument. I think most people would go with Neeb, and I, as an American, would go with Neeb, but Showtime is right there with him. And he understands that HeroMarine, with no factory, with no medevacs, with no mobility, is stuck in his base, and he can take a third. He's got 3 Nexi. He's got a gold base. Here's the Twilight Council and the Forge for +1 attack, and Glaive Adepts. The +1 attack will allow him to 2-shot Marines instead of 3-shot, and the Glaive Adepts will allow him to mow them down that much quicker. It's a very important upgrade for the Adepts. Alright. But what HeroMarine is doing, he sees that it's a Stargate opener. He's already seen the Oracle. So he's building up enough units, and it's been 2 Oracles, actually, but he's building up enough units in order to move out with a strong attack, and he's doing that right now. He's moving out. He's got Stim on the way. He's got +1. He wants to be on the other side of the map as all these timings come together. He's got his turrets. And, oh, a stasis ward coming out because he knows he can't get damaged. The stasis ward can deny some mining. It's not as good as killing SCVs, but it's much better than nothing. But HeroMarine reacts to that. All right. The Marines are revealed. They have revelation from the oracles on them. So we can see them coming, but that's still a lot of Marines. There are no glaives, and actually Showtime opting for the blink for the Stalkers here. So that means, I mean, he only has a handful of units. There are pylons at the front. HeroMarine will engage. He's not done with stim. He's not done with +1. Looking to target down some pylons. The force fields will catch a few of these Marines, which is very nice. And if he brings them low enough, then he can bring in the oracles to fight as well. But I think at this point, our Terran hero realizes, you know what? He's built enough space. He's created enough space that I can't kill him now. That's not going to happen. Yeah. 3 Marines, not even close. Some more Marines are coming down, but he delays the 3rd. He gets vision of what's up. And this does set him back. HeroMarine now has to regroup. He still has no vision of the gold. These pylons may have given away. Even though HeroMarine doesn't see the gold base, usually you wouldn't commit this far out unless you had something to commit to. Like, why would you make pylons out here when you could make pylons back here if you had taken the back base? So I'm reasonably sure that HeroMarine realizes the situation. And he realizes there's a gold base. And now here's the thing about a gold base. Is you're mining 40% faster, but you have the same amount of minerals per patch. Which means you mine out 40% faster. That's also another key point. So, it seems HeroMarine has decided, alright, I can't get any damage done. I have to sit back. I have to build up my economy. And we're in this for the longer haul. Alright, so a lot of Blink Stalkers. Remember, he does have Blink, but there's some bio and Medivacs to support. Force fields at the front. This is quite a choke point here. HeroMarine has to be careful not to get his units split off. He doesn't have much mobility here. This is a strong Protoss army. It does have +1 attack. But if it's caught at the wrong angle, if there are no... There, the stasis ward is targeted down. He needs some force fields to fight this. He uses them, but they don't really cut off the army. And the bio units are stimming forward and tearing through everything. Targets down the sentry with Guardian Shield. A War Prism bringing in reinforcements. The bio units are continuing to move forward. They're dueling it out directly. The War Prism is targeted down. There go the reinforcements, but he's going to have to back off as the numbers have thinned out too much. But HeroMarine getting everything he could. He bit off the head of that attack. The War Prism no longer can reinforce. A lot of sentries went down. That's a lot of gas, which cannot be easily replaced, unlike mineral units like Adepts. These bio units, as time goes on, as Medivacs grow in number, they just have the sustaining power. Protoss units out of the gateway, without splash damage, drop off over time. There's still a point where Showtime, he has the muscle to push forward. That's why HeroMarine is still bottled up in his base. But he's breaking out. He's breaking out. So Showtime does have to transition into splash damage to be able to deal with more units at once. And that splash damage will come in the form of this robotics bay in the main base. Well, yeah, that's 6 Medivacs. These bio units are going to have 1-1. The Protoss does have 1-1. The full scan, he sees the commitment to continue to depths. HeroMarine in typical HeroMarine fashion, not even bothering with Widow Mines. Just full-on bio and taking the right fights at the right time. HeroMarine, if there's anything I think that would define him as a player, I think the word decisive would be it. He's not a flashy microer, but he's very good. He doesn't have incredibly innovative builds or define the meta, but when he wants to fight, he takes a fight, and he does it well. He always knows what he wants and what he needs to do in order to come out on top. Now that was, yeah, it looks like a War Prism in the back. He stims all of his units around. Showtime trying to buy some time for his double Colossi production. And of course, that's going to add literally another dimension to this game. There is this attack at the back. The rocks have not been taken down. We'll see if HeroMarine decides to cut off this opportunity. But the Colossi are on the way. Once Thermal Lance is fully extended, once these units are added to the Protoss ball here, he can no longer really fight. 2 Colossi, okay. 4 Colossi, no. Forget about it. Even in a 4th base, HeroMarine now going to see the benefits of a gold base. And honestly, as time goes on, it's going to benefit him more because we're at that point in the game where having forward bases is very nice. Whereas Showtime used that gold base early on, and, I mean, he's not close to mining it out, but, yeah, the vision is taken. I think he just confirmed. Well, he didn't see the army with those scans, but by process of elimination, he knows where the army could be. He scanned everything but the army right now. He scanned the Dark Shrine, the Double Robo, all the bases except exactly where the army is. You best believe he knows where that army is. All right. So Showtime now has to hold on against this slew of Bile units. It's 2-1 versus 2-2 in the upgrades. Just 2 Colossi. He can still fight, and he chooses to. Knocks one down immediately. The force fields will cut off some of this surface area, but there's 1 Colossi standing tall. Will he let the shade complete? It looks like he will. Right on top of a lot of Marines, and he has the +2. HeroMarine splitting around. The medevacs are still standing tall. 2 Colossi have joined the field, but he's splitting out around the sides, minimizing the splash damage, and he's still moving forward. Somehow his units have survived this fight, and they will live to see another day. But the Colossi, I think, there definitely took HeroMarine by a bit of surprise. He's making Vikings now. He was making Vikings from scanning the 2 Robos, but he saw 2 Colossi. He saw an opportunity. He took it. And even though Showtime was a little bit ahead on supply after that, he just didn't have the muscle to move forward. So HeroMarine, he'll take trades on the other side of the map. That's fine. Because by the time another attack comes across, he's going to have another 1, 2, 3 waves of reinforcements, and those will wash over any sort of Protoss attack that tries to come across. And that's why HeroMarine is so strong, because he knows exactly where and when to fight. But Showtime, he's no pushover. I definitely think that's the case. And he's fighting back. He's got Colossi on the way. That's 4 right now. He's got a Warp Prism on the map. He's got DTs. While DTs are not going to win the game for him, but they're going to create another dynamic that HeroMarine has to deal with. Observers are in nice positions here, as you can see. Let's look at Showtime's vision. He can see pretty much everything but exactly this quadrant of the map where HeroMarine is placed. Alright, the Adepts are shading in. He actually didn't take down these rocks here. He might decide to do so now. But the Colossi count. And at some point, you switch into Disruptors. Why? Because Colossi are very vulnerable to Vikings. Colossi can be hard countered, whereas Disruptors, not so much. At some point, the Colossi are going to have diminishing returns, so adding in things like Disruptors gives you another angle with which to do damage. Because if you don't cut a chunk out of this Bio Ball before the fight, then it's just going to roll over you. It's very simple. The Adepts found an angle in. The worker count, 59. 55 is still fine, especially for a Terran player banking money and maxing out. The scans continually finding vision of any important units. Disruptors, Colossi, those are all important. Disruptor shots coming out. That one's going to hit home. A big chunk taken out, but he's going to take some pot shots on the Colossi as well. The Bile units are stemming in. A lot of Vikings were cut out at the same time. But HeroMarine is moving down. I don't know if he can engage down into this angle right now. He lost some HP and a chunk of his Vikings. No Liberators yet. He's still building Vikings. The Stasis Ward takes out a lot. More Vikings are being targeted down. He's down to 2 Colossi. He's pushing back the force at the north. On the left side, a DT is working through everything as well. HeroMarine is dropping in supply. He needs reinforcements, but he has a great concave. A Disruptor shot comes out, catches 1 Marauder. The Link Stalkers shielding the angles they need to shield in order to maximize the effectiveness of these Colossi. But Showtime is pursuing. He has the meat in his army to push forward. He has 1 Disruptor, a couple Colossi. HeroMarine actually has a force at the back, surprisingly. Is he splitting well? Yes, he is, of course. Some Templar are coming up, maybe not in the right place, definitely not at the right time, and suddenly HeroMarine has closed the gap. He's moving forward. The Colossi is knocked over. Showtime has overextended. And HeroMarine is at 155 to 125 supply. We have the revelations, but the only revelation he's about to have is how fucked he is as the Terran army moves forward. There's no splash damage left over, a single Disruptor, and HeroMarine has not been taking the hits. The shot goes out. It hits a few Marauders. Is that going to be enough? The supplies are starting to even out. It's 3-2 versus 3-3. Plus 3 armor is going to happen in just a moment, and just did. And he evens up the upgrades as well.
In spite of being unemployed, I support your excellent work.
It's 159 to 144 supply. HeroMarine has mined out of his main. So has Showtime. He's taking the base in the back. Plenty of minerals there. Not too much gas. But he has money in the bank, and he needs to find a way to spend it. How many gateways does he have? He's at 10. He could afford a few more. So Showtime is down, but he's not out. He fought it off. HeroMarine is adding complexity to his army. He's adding ghosts. Surprisingly, no liberators yet. That's just kind of HeroMarine style, where he relies on these bio units, and he relies on the engagements. And as I say it, he starts making liberators. So whatever I just said was bullshit. Alright. Some more stasis wards. Those have helped him and possibly saved him in the past. He's kept these oracles alive. He hasn't just been throwing them away. They're not great fighting units. The Revelation and stasis wards are incredibly important. And we're back to a max out. Another incredibly high economy game. Yes, there's been a break in the action, but that break is about to end. Disruptor shot comes in, slams into a couple Vikings. There are more disruptors where that came from. Finds himself a ghost. But the disruptor will be the cost. Showtime will retreat. What does he have to retreat to? Stasis ward was triggered. Not hitting anything significant. But he has a strong Protoss army, but HeroMarine has 136 supply of very angry Terran, but at the same time, a massive warp into the main base. He's going for something almost resembling a base trade here. There's still a lot of bio, the reinforcement angle, as he's pushing forward at the front. The Liberator will siege up. It looks like this will be cleaned up at a relatively heavy cost. HeroMarine not quite on top of his main army. This has given Showtime time to rebuild at home. The DTs are working through the SCVs. That brings him down to 52. That's not really a concern. He's taken that base at the front. That is a full-on planetary fortress. And HeroMarine decides, I'm going to back off. I'm going to regroup, consolidate my forces, and come in for another swing. But he's still at 200 supply. Honestly, killing SCVs almost helps HeroMarine now. He needs his production. He needs his units together, but this is an incredibly strong army on either side. A single Liberator will siege up. A Disruptor shot will connect on about 10 supply of units. Some storms are coming out. The Viking's going to be swept from the sky soon enough. It looks like one Colossi. No, not even going to quite go down. 2 Colossi are left. He's got a lot on the ground, but the EMPs have washed over, removed the shields of a lot of the Protoss army, effectively halving their HP. The Revelation on top of almost everything. He catches most of the bile and most of the medevacs. A handful of Vikings. There's only 2 Colossi left, but he does have storms as well. There's a single ghost in the back. The Concave is very good for HeroMarine. He brings it in from the top, but a lot of these units have already been hit. The Stim's doing a lot of damage as well. HeroMarine trying to find an engagement angle. You got to be very careful. The Disruptor shot comes out, snipes a ghost. He's engaging towards the southern side. Really milking these Disruptors for all they're worth. Colossi getting some more done. HeroMarine seeming... He's looking for a foothold, but Showtime keeps slapping him away at the last second. The Disruptors are going fishing now. He takes a shot. He lands a shot, a big one, right into the center mass. And suddenly HeroMarine is down 20 supply, stimming into full retreat. Showtime is now on the offensive. He's so offensive, somebody should call his sponsors. 189 DT Blink, plus 2 shields, upgrades across the board. Neither player can crack the defenses. The scans continually coming out as well. Any more Revelation lands on most of the Vikings. He still can't quite engage. There's money in the bank for Showtime. None for HeroMarine as he scrambles to put everything together. This is a very ambitious Nexus. A Zealot counterattack as well. These Zealots are pretty expendable with 2,300 minerals in the bank. That's a lot of Disruptors right there. There's not too much anti-air. The Stalkers blink forward. The Storms are going to counter, and Disruptor shots will shave off the front. He takes out the... Finally, the Oracles will go down, but the Charge Lots are doing damage as well. He's trying to engage forward. The Disruptor's not quite in position. A little bit of a pathing mistake will cost him dearly. And another Colossi will be knocked down. The Charge Lots doing significant damage on the other side of the map, though. A Stasis Ward will catch a 15 to 20 supply chunk of bile units as well. HeroMarine is winning fights, he's winning battles, but it does seem like he might be losing the war. Alright. Oh, he gets a disruptor for his troubles. 138 to 185 supply. It does seem like Showtime is slowly but surely winning this war of attrition. HeroMarine is only really mining off of a single base right now. He has very cost-effective units, but he doesn't have really that many of them. There are no disruptors left in the army. If he lands a couple clutch EMPs, he could still fight this, but he's running out of time. He's running out of space. He's running out of supply. Yeah, that War Prism is going to go down. All these units, when EMP'd, are very fragile. He's moving forward. He needs this. He needs this income. Showtime is going to be mining on the left side. 2 disruptor hits coming in. There go the Vikings. Not that he needs them particularly. The Stalkers are pushing him back. The Marines stand tall, but they're not going to be able to stand tall enough. It does look like HeroMarine is going to be shut down. Finally, Showtime has held on long enough. And GG, he taps out in a slugfest. That was a good game. That was a great game. But Showtime holds on, and HeroMarine just did not have the income at the end. And respect to HeroMarine for putting that in his top 3, because that was an incredible game. It just, he couldn't quite crack the army. The Disruptors came in clutch right when they needed to. The Disruptors whiffed like 90% miss percentage on the free throws, but then they hit the 3-pointers, and it made it all worth it. That goal-based first style, very nice out of Showtime as well. He played it really well. HeroMarine, incredible engagements, but I feel like HeroMarine was on the back, on the back foot for a lot of that game. It felt like he just wasn't, like he was taking great fights, but he didn't have an end game. He didn't have a, this is how I finish the game strategy, if that makes sense. Showtime always felt like he had the tech and he had the bases to potentially finish the game. HeroMarine, on the other hand, felt like he was fighting him back, but he never felt like he was entirely winning. There was the point when Showtime overextended over on this side, and HeroMarine took a really good fight, but as he pushed forward over to this gold base, a stasis ward hit him, a couple disruptor hits, and Showtime held on. And then from there, it kind of felt like he had the momentum as well. So, fucking incredible game, right? All right, that's just one. There are 2 more. Next up is going to be against Liquid Snute. I hear he's pretty good on Proxima Station. All right. On the top, once again, we have the Deutschland Wunderkid HeroMarine. And from Norway, it is, from Team Liquid, Snute. We're on Proxima Station. Let's talk about Terran versus Zerg. So, now Proxima Station is a bit of a curveball. It does throw a little bit extra into the mix. But, thank you, Staffy.
Automatically relaying, thanks.
So Terran versus Zerg, a lot comes down to stylistic choices. In a standard game, it comes down to the Terran player making a decision on how they want to try to put on pressure, and the Zerg player making a decision on how they want to defend. Of course, a Zerg can attack. They have options, but a lot of the time those options are much more all-in than a Terran player. It's just the nature of the matchup. It's how it works. So, assuming Snute doesn't decide to go all-in, and this is definitely a pretty terrible map to go all-in unless you really want to commit and sneak something on them, it's going to be down to Snute to respond to any sort of pressure HeroMarine puts on. That can mean medevac drops early on, like a 2-1-1. Around the 5-minute mark, you load up 2 medevacs, 16 Marines, and you go try to fuck up someone's day. That could mean maybe Hellions into Banshees or Hellbats to try to put on some pressure, maybe kill some Queens, deny some creep, and if you're lucky, kill some drones. But it really does depend. It's dealer's choice, really. There's no best way to do it, but he's already queuing up a Marine, which leads me to believe he's going to be getting a factory, adding on a reactor, and then getting some of the Hellions. So we will have to see. There's the factory on the way. And that makes sense. This is a map that's kind of constricted. Drops can work, but they don't have a lot of wiggle room, if that makes sense. Like, if you're going to commit to a drop, you're already in their base, where you can be defended. There's not a lot of space to move in and out. So things like Hellions to just control the creep, control any expansion of the Zerg in general, those are very helpful. Yeah, it looks like we're going to have the reactor factory on the way. And a third CC. And he's landing it down back here. He knows no overlords will scout that for a while. And that's the Proxima station difference, right? Where on Proxima, you have your main and your second base are defended by a single ramp. It's very easy to just lock that down. There's no real extra effort involved. So if you take a third base, that is about as easy to defend as your normal second base. So taking a third base is not a terrible option, because you have this choke point, you have a relatively constricted area, and you have a high ground to retreat to. So Proxima Station, especially for Terran, is one of those maps where we just see a more defensive, a greedier style with 3 command centers. And Snute, in the game of drones, you win or you die. And Snute wins more often than not. He has a tendency, I don't know how he does it. I watch him stream, I watch his replays, but I still don't understand how he gets so many drones so quickly and doesn't die to things. I just don't. And I'm pretty okay at this game, but it just blows my mind every time. I would have 35 drones, he's had 43. Like, it just keeps going. Alright, and oh, he's a little bit off a creep there. We'll HeroMarine try a run by. It's a little bit risky because you don't know if there are 10, 12 Zerglings behind there to ruin your day. If he runs by these Queens and he gets caught by Zerglings, well, you have no map control and the Zerg player can make 20 more drones. If they don't make Zerglings or defenses and you run by, then you could kill a bunch of drones. But that is a gamble. That is a risk. And most top-tier players are not willing to take that risk. Because it is a gamble. Are we really doing this? Are you going to get fancy with the anti-creep? And HeroMarine taking a third base, if he lost all these Hellions and Zerglings now, if he lost all these Hellions and Reaper now, then he has nothing at home. He tries to take his third, and then 20 Zerglings can keep him from taking it for another minute or 2. So there's no reason to roll the dice. When you're a Terran player taking 3 bases, getting your upgrades, your double upgrades this quickly, ahead of a Zerg, and you're going to be completely locked down. You're already controlling the creep. There's no reason to take that risk. And, ooh, a switch up here. Why did he cancel the Carapace? Bit of a mistake out of Snute, but he's switched up. He's decided, no melee. We're going ranged attack. But where is the Roachmore? He doesn't have anything that can use ranged attack yet. I'm sure we'll get a Roachmore in a moment. There it is. But, so Snute has decided on that more cost-effective Roach Ravager style. Now, the downside is a lack of mobility. But we're on Proxima Station, where mobility doesn't get you very far. Ironically enough. But on a lot of maps, there are counterattack angles. You can backstab, you can sideswipe. Not on this map. Pretty much your only way to attack on the ground is forward. You have this incredibly hard-to-access backdoor area where you can take down rocks, but especially with Zerglings and Banelings, that's not really a realistic possibility. So the Roach Ravager makes a lot of sense. If you're just... And once again, let's talk about Snute. Snute is the master of the late game. If you've ever watched any of my casts of him that are 45 minutes long, you would understand. Who knows? This game might be 45 minutes long. But he's going for 4 bases. He's going to lock everything down. He's going to have the creep spread a bunch of queens. And honestly, I would not be surprised if he does not attack at all. Like, if he does not attack at all in the entire game. Just sit back in immediate infestation pit. We're going straight up to hive. We're taking the fast lane. He's just going to sit back, defend, 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 and explode in tech. And that is, it's not like a mind-blowing style. This is pretty common. But it's what Snute is very comfortable at. And we'll see if HeroMarine... HeroMarine is a very timing-oriented player. He wants to crack him before his shell is so difficult to penetrate that he can't touch him anymore. So HeroMarine putting on a lot of pressure. He's got Stim. He's got Hellbats. He can push forward. He finished up the 1-1. That's a lot of units here out of Snute. I'm a little bit questioning his decision to move forward here. He's targeting down queens to remove the anti-air capabilities. He will trade out his units there, but I would say he went in a little bit deep. And that's going to cost him some map control here. There's another push on the way, though. He's got 2-2, and with 2-2, he's going to have a significant upgrade advantage, which will allow him to trade very effectively against that Roach Ravager. Yeah, we see the creep moving forward. Is he going to go for the drop style? He's loading almost everything up. The Roaches are moving forward, trying to push him away from the creep. The triple drop towards the main. Are there many static defenses? None. There's nothing protecting him. And he skirts around the edge. There's only an Overlord at the very edge. And Snute is reaching out very far. The long hand of Snute. But he's going to have to come back in just a moment. Are there enough units here? I think there are. Especially with 2-2 coming up. The Infestors are out, but they don't have Pathogen Glands. Therefore, they do not have the energy or burrow yet. So he's going to be able to get a lot of damage done. Throws out the Infested Terrans, but those are nothing in comparison to a Fungal Growth. At the same time, HeroMarine is beating back this Roach Ravager attack at the front. He will crush it with the Bile. The units in the main are trying to defend, but Medivacs are quite a good unit. They'll keep those Marines intact, and suddenly the supply is in favor of our Terran hero. He will eventually take out these Medivacs and these Marines, but Snute has taken heavy damage at the same time as he moves across towards the front. The gold base is fully mining. He still has some Infestors. He's getting 2-2, but right now HeroMarine is at full power. He's got 3 bases fully mining. He's got as much income. He's got an upgrade advantage. There is no hive tech, no fungal growth, and barely any creep to protect him. It's still 71. How does Snute still have 71 drones? He only lost 7. It wasn't that bad. We've got another Doom drop, a Penta drop into the main base. He's skirting around the edge of every single creep tumor. Snute doesn't quite see it. Until they finish, those creep tumors do not have the vision, and HeroMarine skirting right around the very edge of that, maximizing it, and taking a 4th base at the same time. +3 weapons is already on the way. He's getting a planetary at the 4th. Boosts into the main. A single Spore Crawler is there to meet him. Here comes Snute back towards the front, but there's still a lot of bio poised outside of the 4th base. The lair is under fire. There's no hive in sight. The Roaches and Ravagers doing their best, but the lair will be taken out. Thank you very much. We're dead. Right.
Quote of the day.
The triple drop moves its way out. The 4th base is under heavy fire. The Roach Ravager is scrambling back, but the 4th base will be another casualty. A fungal goes out, but it's not going to be enough. Snoot's still at 165 supply, but these bio units are tearing him apart. Oh, he's moving forward. Some of it hitting the larva. A little bit of miscommunication there. He needs some units at the back. It looks like he will be able to defend. HeroMarine getting spread a little bit more thinly. Snute has a base on the left. He already preempted this attack on the right-hand side. And it looks like the bio will be driven back. He does not have the +3 yet. The upgrades have evened up. And now HeroMarine can no longer take that easily a direct fight. But he still has 4 bases. If he just calms down for a second, if he just takes a break, he chills out, he can build up to 200 supply. He's going to have +3. He's going to have an army that would take a Zerg miracle to beat. Snute somehow still has maintained. He's at 55 drones, which is not great, but it's nowhere near dead yet. He still has fungals. He still has a handful of Ravagers. Not really enough. That's how you can tell a Zerg player has taken such heavy damage when his Ravager count is solidly single digits. That's how you know that he doesn't have the money to spend. This is not the unit composition Snute wants. It isn't even the unit composition he needs right now, but it's what he has, and he has to work with it. While the supplies may be even, the effectiveness of this army is entirely dependent on fungal growth. He sees the infestors. We'll see how they land. He still has some creep. He's desperately trying to hold on to it. But HeroMarine not offering up the sort of fungals that he really wants. There's a big chunk on the right side. Will he be able to land any? One lands. He gets some corrosive bows on top. This Roach Ravager army, +3 attack is finished. HeroMarine moving a little bit forward. I'm not entirely sure if that's going to work out for him. There's a lot of bile at the back. +3 is done. Snute will hold on, though. He got some good fungals. Almost all of the army supply left over is in medevacs. In fact, over 20 supply in medevacs right now. But that means this next fight is going to be that much harder for Snute. He doesn't have Hive or Hive Tech of any kind. He has Roach Ravager Infestor. And he's going to be looking at 2-2 versus 3-3. And last I checked, 2 is indeed less than 3. A triple drop towards the side. HeroMarine trying to skirt around any overlords. He will succeed. And we will have to see. Snoot's still only at 51 drones, but he's holding on to what he has. The Queen's using any energy-based units or spell-based units are what Snute needs to capitalize on now. That's all he really has. A split off. This base and its drones look like they're going to go down. He might be able to defend with the Roach Ravager, but the base is just going to get evaporated here. It's +3 Marine Marauder just guts it. It's 142 versus 175 supply, while HeroMarine is starting to mine out of his main. Soon to be mining out of his net. He's got his foot on the gas pedal, and he's not slowing down anytime soon. Liberators are on the way. 3-3 is completing. It just does not look like Snute has any way out of this situation. He has 8 Queens with full energy. He has Roach Ravager, but he's desperately trying to max out. It's going to take the most cash money fungals. But HeroMarine is just not giving him the... It's just simply not giving him the opportunity. Like, yeah, 3 medevacs will go down. Another fungal... That's a good one. That's a great one right there. Another fungal comes out. Snute doing everything he desperately can. The Queens will be eviscerated. But the Liberators, the Venn diagram of freedom... He's fighting so hard. He's even on supply. Snute somehow holds on again. But how long can this continue? He's up on supply. I'm not entirely sure how he does it. But he's done it again. And he's back up to what resembles... He's still at 42 drones. While HeroMarine is not taking the greatest fights... He only needs to take any sort of fight. It is 42 drones to 61 SCVs. A 5th base has been taken by HeroMarine. He is now splitting off Liberators to harass. Snute doesn't really have... He doesn't have Corruptors. He can't clear these out. Yeah, he can shoot them down, but it takes time. It takes movement. And Snute can't really afford any loss mining now. He's ahead on supply, but once again, this army is not nearly as good as this army. The only difference is fungals. That's it. The most clutch fungals, the best engagement, and that is how HeroMarine wins. He has to be a wizard right now with the most dank fungals of all time. The planetary will be given up, it looks like. Not too much left to mine at that base. Acceptable losses, as HeroMarine will cut that off. Looks like 1 Liberator was taken out. Fortunately for Snute, he doesn't really have enough drones to mine on the other bases. Snute almost maxing out, so his army is incredibly large. 147 Zerg army supply. He still has a fighting chance. And fight he will. HeroMarine making sure there's no way for the fungal to be maximized. Snute bleeding off a lot of units, making for the very first time a hive. But it seems like it's just going to be too little, and far, far, far too late. The tanks are sieging up in the slow, inevitable march of the Terran army. Fungals are good, but tanks are better. 150 supply, and I have a feeling that number is not going to go up with time as he goes back up to 172. Snute fights for everything he has left. The tanks are sieged on the high ground. The bio is stimming forward. Good Fungals. But are they good enough? 112. 88. GG. Very well played out of Snute. And HeroMarine will slice through in a decisive engagement. Just keeping control of that game. HeroMarine had control of that game since the first set of drops. He's not a big drop Terran, but when it suits him, when he needs it, he knows what he needs. So. Alright, and now we have the final game versus Stephano. On Blood Boil, once again. Alright. In the bottom right, it is from Team Meltdown, the Frenchman, Stephano. And in the top left, from Deutschland, fucking up his SCVs, HeroMarine. Alright. So, once again, HeroMarine style really does revolve around... There are a lot of different Terran styles. There are a lot of different styles for every race, but I think they're most pronounced with Terran just because of the nature of Terran units. As a Terran player, you can have a lot of different options. Like, there are players like Beyond who rely on incredible micro and insane opportunities, just being so quick on their reactions and so decisive on their movements that they win games maybe 99.99, literally, % of players wouldn't have. And then there are players like Innovation who rely on just insane mechanics, just on consistency, almost robotic consistency, where they're doing the same thing at the same time so well and without delay that they just simply overwhelm their opponents with sheer numbers a lot of the time. They have competent micro, competent builds, but they just don't miss a beat. And then there are players who are a little bit of both, like HeroMarine. There is... HeroMarine is a player who has very good very solid mechanics. He always has enough units. His build is on point. Yeah, he might get supply blocked, or he might not have his production quite perfect, but he almost always keeps his money down, continues expanding, keeps up on his upgrades, and he relies less on the late-game tech like TY. TY is the late-game Terran player. He will make ghosts. He will make nukes. He will make ranged liberators, things like that, even battle cruisers. But HeroMarine relies on timings. He sees an opportunity, and he hits that window as hard as he can, and he usually breaks right through. He's very consistent. So he's a little bit, I would say he's a little bit closer to Innovation than anyone else. Of course, the top 4 Terran players in the world, the 4 horsemen of Terran, TY, Beyond, Innovation, and Maru. I'm sure you could have an argument as to anyone else who should be in that category. But I would definitely put him closer towards the Innovation style of Terran, with consistency and timing and decisive actions, as opposed to micro or late game or any of those styles as well. Alright. So Stephano on Blood Boil here, he's opted to take the double gas base instead of the pocket base. HeroMarine has done the same. He did not go for the back pocket base with only a single gas and more mineral patches. What is Maru's style? That's a good question. Maru is like a more advanced version of Beyond. I think the best way to describe Maru would be the YOLO Terran. Maru is the guy who says, for no apparent reason sometimes, fuck it, 6 medevacs full of units into the main. Why? You only live once, motherfucker. I don't... He just decides to do something, and sometimes that something is what kills him. Alright? Sometimes he just picks up 6 medevacs of units, goes into the main, loses 4 medevacs, and loses the game. Like, but he will take those risks. He's the gambler, alright? But he's so insanely, like, he's like beyond micro, but just to another level. His micro is probably the best in the world. But his decision-making is just suicidal at times. Like, I don't... And that is why he's not as consistent as Innovation. Is because, like, he goes too far. It's like, you don't need to load up 6 medevacs and go to the... You don't need to do that. But he does it anyways. I don't... It's like, how do we kill these Colossi? Build 5 medevacs and drop all the units along the Colossi. Of course, like, why don't you just build Vikings, Mario? What the fuck are Vikings? I don't know. Alright, but it does... Back to this game. HeroMarine is opting for the double drop, the 2-1-1, it seems. Stephano has gone for the Queens to deflect this, and Blood Boil is not a map where you can easily get an angle to the mineral lines as long as they have vision. He's going to be moving around. He's going to be controlling the creep if he finds an angle, but Zerg players have this pretty figured out, to be honest. It's very difficult to get damage done with a 2-on-1 directly. The timing's about 5 minutes, 5:30. When you have Zerglings, you have enough Queens, you have a bit of creep spread. So it's kind of just there to hold the Zerg at bay. Really, there is no intent on a killing move, if that makes sense. And HeroMarine acknowledges that. He's got a 3rd base on the way. He's got upgrades. He's got 3 more barracks. His production is starting to explode. All right. Okay, he's adding on a 3rd medevac here. I'm surprised he's actually opting for this angle. This is a big commitment because HeroMarine could be out here at the front controlling the creep spread towards his base because this is not a kill move still. Does he actually go for it? He's in the back. He's trying to really sneak up the back here, and he's being very decisive about it. The medevacs are not quite... Okay, the medevacs are being targeted by the Queens. And honestly, I gotta say, that was a mistake. I think, bar none, that was a mistake. Instead of keeping the units at the edge of the creep, controlling the map, instead, HeroMarine lost 2 medevacs and most of their units as well. So he's coming in here, but it does look like Stephano's going to hold on. And he's going to have pretty much a free pass to expand to a gold base. So HeroMarine has given up his map control willingly with that attack. So I do have to say, I think that was a mistake. A bit uncharacteristic as well with that style of play, but he was looking for an opportunity. It did not present itself, unfortunately. He's going to have 2-2 on the way. I mean, he's still okay. He's still fine. He's got 3 bases. He's got 2-2 starting. It's not like HeroMarine is down and out. It's just he's been pushed off the map for a little while. This will give Stephano a little bit of leeway. He can spread his creep out. He can take that 4th. He can continue his upgrades. He can get a solid drone count. He's at 60... Oh, 75. Holy shit. HeroMarine will move forward, but with those medevacs being taken out, with their Marines alongside them, it takes the danger out of this attack. He can't just pick up 3-4 medevacs and go to the main and exploit the immobility of the Roach style. So, without those medevacs, then, yeah, I don't see this army doing damage. There are a handful of Marines back here. He's killed 4 drones so far, so damage has been intensely minimized. The 2 medevacs will pick up, but imagine if those were 5. So, and now he's going to kind of settle into that control mode where he's on the edge of the creep. He picks off units at the front and continues to drop around the map. But once again, Stephano is very comfortable at 157 supply. He's got a gold base now. He's got 75 plus drones, and he has creep spread, which isn't always a given. So I do have to put Stephano in the driver's seat right now, despite the fact HeroMarine is the one attacking. Yeah, there's the infestation pit. But it's not like Stephano can attack. Here's the thing. With a Roach Ravager army, it's very difficult to end the game. Because Roach Ravager is a very dumb, clunky army. It doesn't have very much range. It doesn't have... It's very large, which means it can't get around very easily. It's not very quick. I mean, the Zerglings are, but the Roach Ravager not so much. So you can't really get into a Terran's base and kill him against a competent Terran. And HeroMarine, I would argue, is an incredibly competent Terran. So you do have to get to that hive tech. You do have to get Infestors and then onto Broodlords or Ultras. It looks like it's going to be Broodlords as he's opted for the Spire. But HeroMarine is not going to die. It's just he hasn't had the opportunity to delay this tech. Pretty much everything in the mid-game is to delay the hive tech to the point where maybe you're able to lay down a killing blow on a Zerg before hive tech. There are very few Terran players who are like, yeah, go to Broodlords. See how I care. All right, that's not something you do. You don't just let them go to Broodlords. But HeroMarine, because of the failed attacks early, essentially has to let Stephano get to Broodlords. And now we're here. And Stephano should be able to hold on. This is a nice spread. He's got tanks, but creep from all sides. We got the 360-degree surround. Oh my god, as all the tanks are going to go down. No fungals required in this engagement. And Stephano will crush this army back. HeroMarine not paying quite as much attention as he might have liked. The Queens look like they will not quite get targeted. And HeroMarine will get driven back. Yeah, he just crushes it. He bites it off as soon as it comes onto the creep. And that is the problem. If you lose momentum, that can happen. So now, while HeroMarine is even on supply, there's still 5 bases for Stephano. This is still a good trade for bio units. Like, medevacs are insanely good. There are melee upgrades. There are Ravagers forcing micro. But that's still a lot of bio units, and HeroMarine is starting to be coming out on top of these. Yeah, he'll have to back off for now. But if he fights straight up versus Roach Ravager, he will win. But, of course, there's a lot of kickers here. There are the Queens, there's Creep Spread, there's Zerglings. And Stephano is going to continue to maintain this high supply count. HeroMarine doing his best to put on pressure. He can feel... He might not have scouted the Greater Spire. Yeah, he doesn't know about the Greater Spire, but he feels it. I don't say that sarcastically, like as a joke. As a Terran player at this stage in the game, you know Hive Tech is coming. You don't know necessarily, if you haven't seen any units yet, you don't know if it's Broodlords or Ultras, but you know it's coming. And you need to put on, you need to throw on the fucking afterburners, you need to inject all the stim packs, you need to put everything into getting damage done. Because once that Hive Tech is out, if you have a bio army like this, you're going to get driven back, and you might not ever be going back the other direction. So HeroMarine is giving it all he's got right now. But the Broodlords are on the way. They're Morphe in the main. He's pushing forward. He's doing his best to get the damage done while he still has the time. But his time is running out. The Corrosive Bios will force some micro. The Broodlords are about to complete. This base is under fire. The Roach Ravager is thinning out. But the reason it's thinning out is because the Broodlords are coming. And here they are. The tanks are going to start working against the Terran army. HeroMarine streaming forward. The supplies are even. But 5 Broodlords are going to throw this army into full retreat. But if we're gonna make it sound good, tactical withdrawal. And that makes all the difference. HeroMarine did not step far enough forward to end the game, and now he's going to have to take a couple steps back. As Stephano holds on, Infestor Broodlord will be the ticket. The game will slow down as Broodlords do force it to. Stephano still at 73 workers. He's got 5 bases. HeroMarine has 5 bases as well. But Blood Boil is quite a constricted map. You can't move around between the bases very easily. Drops are okay, but they're not great because there's a lot of ledges. There's not a lot of area to maneuver. So if you can lock down these bases as a Zerg with this army, then you can build a death ball. I would love to see ghosts, maybe ranged liberators as well. Ghosts are the option. Ghosts are the late game. Any split from ghosts, any intentions that are not ghosts, are a timing. Because eventually the army gets too good, and without ghosts you can't beat it. It's very simple. That takes a while to get there. It still needs to be in the right spot. But if you don't make ghosts, you're still just trying to go for a kill move instead of just trying to play the late game. And right now, HeroMarine has no ghosts or Ghost Academy in production, so that answers that question. Are there even enough Marines to fight the Broodlords? There are plenty of infestors underneath. That's a lot of bio. The Broodlords are crushing through. The hatch will go down. There's a lot of damage put out by this bio army. Some fungals could really make the... Oh, Jesus Christ. Some incredible fungals, and that's going to clean up a lot of supply. It has to be ghosts. I'm not sure what these Reapers are for. I think those are Panic Reapers. But HeroMarine is... his tech is obsolete. He needs to transition. He needs ghosts. He needs Vikings. You know what? Fuck it. Let's go battlecruisers. I don't... But Vikings are still not the answer because Fungals and Corruptors and Ravagers... that every minute he doesn't go ghosts is another huge swing in favor of Stephano. You need ghosts. It's very simple. You need ghosts. If you don't make ghosts, you're relying on him making mistakes. And Stephano is not a man incredibly prone to making mistakes. So, the scans will come out. He confirms the army is still at home and not pushing forward. But he's making a ton of... He wants to just sweep this army. And, I mean, he's going for the knockout blow once again. Like, you go for all these Vikings, you try to get a good engage, you avoid the Fungals, you kill all the Broodlords, you win the game. But, once again, that relies on Stephano not hitting the Fungals, not being in the right position, and getting this sick concave that ends everything. So, the ghosts have to be the ticket. Like, otherwise, Stephano made a mistake. HeroMarine could do the best micro of his life, but if Stephano is on point, in the right position, and lands a lot of his spells, it doesn't matter. And the Zergling run-by will bring this Terran army back. Buy more time for Stephano. Bring the SCV count down a bit, not that it matters too much. A handful more Zerglings will be taken out, but creep covers now half the map. And the scans continue. He will clear up the creep. He'll move forward, but... Are there any air upgrades? He has the +1 Carapace. Fun fact, Broodlords have a double attack. The initial Broodling strike does damage. It takes air attack upgrades. But the Broodlings themselves take melee, ground, and Carapace upgrades. But yeah, we have the units arcing in, but the Fungals are absolutely too good. That's a lot of Vikings still. Is he actually running out of units on the ground? HeroMarine, I was criticizing his style, but it does seem like the Broodlords will eventually be thinned out. There are no more Corruptors. He's building them now. A handful of Ravagers come up, but HeroMarine has what he needs. The Broodlords are going down. There's not too much left to clean them up, but HeroMarine's Terran Zerg style, there's still Infestors on the deck. There's still Fungals coming out. He gets a scan. He'll catch a couple Infestors. But it does look like Stephano has been broken. The Fungals were great. They were incredible, but HeroMarine just had too much. He's still pushing forward. Drones are being taken out. He's being dropped below 60. He can take out a dozen more. And Stephano's going to run out of mining bases here. Those are a lot of badly bruised medevacs. And badly bruised Vikings as well. There's still some Fungals. He's making one Broodlord. If he removes the medevacs, these units can die to Zerglings. Are there any more Fungals? He doesn't... Oh, there's another Fungal at the front. The Corruptors are taking out a lot of the Vikings. HeroMarine may be stepping a little bit too far, but I may have stepped a little bit too far in casting. There are Broodlords at the front. He's holding on to a tiny, tiny thread. The Marines are continuing to stem forward. The Corruptors have been removed. 4 medevacs still in the air. A lot of Marines in production. Somehow these drones survive. And Stephano will hold. But we have to ask ourselves that eternal question. At what cost? And HeroMarine, he's taking a base at the front. He's got fresh mining bases. In the income tab, we see a distinct advantage for our German Terran. But the infestors are regaining their energy. He maintained the lion's share. And he will still have fungals. He has a handful of broods and zerglings on the deck. It still comes down to the fungals. HeroMarine, still no ghosts. Still mass bio. There are only so many bases on the map, but we're in no real danger of mining out quite yet. So that's not the big concern. We're not at full late game. We're not at supreme late game, as Tastosis would put it. He's making 6 SCVs at a time. So that tells us how many command centers. But we're getting there. It's been scrappy. And units lost almost even. A little bit more for Stephano here, but he has mined more minerals overall. Oh yeah. This is still a very strong army. He's slowly but surely rebuilding Broodlords. We got Spore Crawlers. He's turtling up. HeroMarine once again winding up for another strike. He's at 188 supply. He's going to be maxed out against Stephano, maybe 150, 160. But he slowed down. And still no Ghost Academy, I continue to point out. Is that scan on the army? He scans. He sees the army. He sees the Spore Crawlers. He realizes the situation. Is this the time for the Ghost Academy? Now is the time for the Ghost Academy. HeroMarine gonna go for the knockout blow. It's 60 supply up, 137 versus 94 army supply. That's a lot of infestors. That's a lot of Spore Crawlers. Clearing up the creep. There's a small counterattack on the side. The cracklings are doing well, but not well enough. He moves forward. We'll have to see how the fungals work here. 13 Vikings. Some juicy fungals at the front. But he's buying time, he's buying space. The Spore Crawlers are doing work. Do we get some fungals on the side? The Bio Army is being whittled down. The supply is still very high. But the units that can actually kill the Broodlords are dwindling in number. He just doesn't have the pieces in place. The Corruptor is starting to take out the medevacs as well. He may have the numbers, but he just doesn't have the position. He can't close the distance. If he moves too quickly, the fungals will catch the big clump of units. If he moves too slow, the Broodlords whittle down the bio. Without ghosts, he can't break through this. Alright, some more Vikings are coming up. We'll see some fungals. The Spore Crawlers are helping out. Fungals on either side. The infestor is being maintained. A big fungal on the left, a big fungal on the right, and right down the center, we have the Broodlords cutting through. Another one is coming up. The Corruptors have been cleared out. The Spore Crawlers are down on the left side. He retreats his Broodlords. A couple Queens are coming up, but he has nothing to protect the gold base once again. More Corruptors are on the way. He gets the scan. We'll be able to catch. One infestor goes down. The infestor count is in the single digits once again. A fungal comes out, not quite on point. The Queens are going to help out. They have +1 attack upgrades. Down goes another Viking, it looks like. 3 more Vikings coming up to replace it. More Corruptors are popping at the same time. Does he have any transfuses for this Broodlord? The Corruptors are trying to fight. Stephano is holding on. He's driving back the ground army. The Vikings are only left in the air. Everything on the ground has been cleaned up. He's going to hold on. The parade push of Terran is continuing across the map. He has a handful of medevacs. The Vikings will take out what seems to be the last Broodlord. Only 2 more infestors on the deck. He scans. He sees everything. One more Broodlord is morphing in. It's 87 to 131 supply. Another Spore Crawler being taken out. Stephano holding on to a tiny thread. That's a lot more Marines where that came from. He's targeting down. The Broodlord will never see the light of day. Some more fungals on the front. He's desperately trying to move forward. The Vikings hit the deck as well. The Lings will be able to take out almost everything on the ground. A single Corruptor, but the Marines just continuously stream forward. They can't stop. They won't stop. And they're tearing through the front. A big Fungal takes out several Medevacs. A single Broodlord, not going to be enough. Here come the infested Terrans as well. GG, HeroMarine will grind through just barely. Stephano not able to hold on. And he will take the victory. I criticized his style, but I don't think anyone can criticize his execution, as he takes it home. And HeroMarine with that brute force Terran style. He just does not stop. And no matter how cost efficient you are, you can't be cost efficient enough. Ugh. He knew what he needed to do, and that's what he's good with. So, so that was HeroMarine's top 3 games of the WCS qualifier. If you do like HeroMarine, of course, check out HeroMarine, twitch.tv/HeroMarine, or Mouse HeroMarine. I'm not sure which one it is. But he was kind enough to send out that replay pack to his subscribers. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my cast of these games. I hope it was palatable enough. But yeah, he said those were the top 3 games. I think they were pretty good. I don't know.